Behold the Japanese Sega Saturn release, Layer Section from Taito. If this looks familiar to you, that's because this is also known as Galactic Attack, which was the North American release for the Sega Saturn, which I previously reviewed. Layer Section is, as far as I can tell, the identical game in Japanese packaging with a few changes to the menus. This is also known as Rayforce in the arcades. Layer Section is a bizarre name. It sounds like it has something to do with baking a cake, which maybe it does. I'm not sure. The entire storyline is written in Japanese, so I can't read it. I doubt it has much to do with baking. My guess is that it has something to do with a spaceship making other spaceships and giant things in space explode, which sounds like a terrific story. That's the kind of story I like. The story where every ending of every spaceship is a happy ending in a fireball. I covered most of the basics in my review of Galactic Attack, which for American consumers at least is the game to buy because it's extremely affordable and, in my opinion, one of the better shooters on the Sega Saturn. It's a very cool game, extremely playable, and the nice thing about it is that you're blowing up enemies in the air or in space in front of you and then also locking onto them with your lasers, which are like missiles, and you can lock onto numerous targets at once. You're scored a higher multiplier for the more enemies that you blow up all at one time. Very cool gameplay, and later in the game you have to get right up next to enemies to lock onto them and then back away before getting wasted. I think there's 7 levels total in Layer Section / Galactic Attack, and the game has a very nice difficulty curve. It just eases you into sheer chaos. I've pretty much memorized most of the bosses and some of the attack patterns and stuff up through level 3. Level 4 is where it starts getting challenging, and level 5 and on is extremely difficult, and will make experienced shooter fans very happy. But this game is also accessible for those of you who are not into every single exotic Sega Saturn shooter out there. Just don't expect to win it the first time. Hitting the left bumper button on the Sega Saturn controller brings up the score and extra life information. You can turn that on or off. I have it off because I find it distracting. It gets in the way of the enemies, and also the backgrounds in this game are very nice to look at. It's a well-rounded game. It doesn't really stand out much in any one particular area other than fun. This part reminds me of Musha. Where would a spaceship shooter be without some kind of giant tunnel-crawling robot spider thing shooting laser beams at you? This guy's tough. He's the one I'm trying to memorize right now. Nice synthesizer work in this one. Well, between my review of Galactic Attack and Layer Section, I think I've covered this game fairly well. If you like spaceship shooters, it's an absolute must-play. It's a wonderful game. It combines everything that's good about spaceship shooters and packs them all into one single video game with an affordable price tag, which so many of these Sega Saturn shooters do not have. Galactic Attack / Layer Section / Rayforce. A trilogy of names for a single game.